Okay, hi everyone. Today in the regular expressions, in this regular expressions REGEX video, we're going to talk about character classes. There are, well, I'd say about 10, but I could be wrong, but these are the character classes that you've seen in previous videos, but I didn't want to go into them, so now I'm actually going to go into them. You'll see some of these encased in brackets. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through the basic and get a little bit more complicated and, use different regular expressions to kind of get the handle on them. Now, I'm going to go over something really quickly here. For example, you'll see in this one, you'll see the plus here. In my meta characters video, I explained a little bit more about the plus, but remember the plus is for one or more of the preceding characters. Remember, we have 0 or 1 and then 0 or more. But you can go into that previous video and take a look at that because, again, it can get kind of confusing. And to get even more confusing, you'll see the caret. Now, if you remember from the previous video, I believe it was the anchors video. The caret is used for the beginning of a string. However, and this is the thing, when it's encased in square brackets, it means not. I know. So in this case, we're going to talk about when it's encased in square brackets, it means not. For example, in this case, let me see. Okay, we'll talk about here we have not XYZ. It's not at the beginning of it, that's XYZ. It's not XYZ. However, but down here, it actually is beginning. And it's, yeah, we'll go over this. All right, so first let's take a look at this one right here. Okay, when you're looking at, let me actually back up a little bit. In the square brackets, when you have letters or numbers like this, in the square brackets, it means matching any character in that set. Now this is an or. It could either be A or B or C, or A, B, or A, B, C, or any, basically it's, if the character's in there, it'll match the succession or the combination, the continuous, what's the word I'm looking for? It'll actually match the set of those letters in whatever iteration they come in. If we have AAA, well, I'll show you. If we have AAA, triple B, whatever it is, but it'll match it. So in this case, we have, AXY, whatever it is. So let's go ahead and we'll see that this will pull up the A in this case, right? Because when we look at it, A is one or more, but there's nothing else besides XYZ, and XYZ, they're not in the list here. All right, so if I were to go in and put A, it would come up with both. If I were to put up A, B, great. A, C, it would come up with those. Notice that it comes up with the first instance of those strings, of those characters in a string. Even if they're all A's, all B's, all C's, it just comes up with A, B, A, C. So it's very specific in that way. All right. Now, when we're talking about, I'm actually going to skip down here because this is kind of also important. Now here we're talking about not characters. So what this is saying is that for everything that is not X, Y, or Z, substitute this. So in this case, we're going to just come up with like question mark dash, X, Y, Z. So let me see there. There we go. X, Y, Z. And this will work, again, if it's X, Y, Z or X, Z, as you can see. Or we can come up with X, Y, right? Or Y, Z, but it has to be any of those characters within those brackets. right? So make sure that we understand that this is, when you see this caret in here in these brackets like this, it usually means not XYZ. Deal with what is not presented in these brackets. Now, there are three actually classes, character classes that I have here, and they're very interesting. We have, excuse me, it's the colon, alnum, colon, alnum, yes. Did I just put semicolons? My bad, excuse me. Go ahead and correct that, because it's very important. Okay. So here we have alnum surrounded by colons and brackets. This basically is alphanumeric. So regular expressions or Google Sheets understands this to mean A to Z, capital A to capital Z, or 0 through 9. Right? So it actually is understood that it means all of that. Now when we take a look at alpha, this is actually A to Z, comma, capital A to capital Z. Strictly alphabet. And of course we have digits, or digit, excuse me, and that's 0 to 9. So these are already, when you put in these particular this notation, Google Sheets already knows that you're talking about, you know, if you're doing alnum, you're going through A to Z, lowercase here. This should be lowercase, lowercase z to lower, and then capital A to Z, and then 0 or 0 and 9. It already knows that, and then it breaks it down into alphabet and digits. So, but whenever you're making a notation for that in an expression, you have to encase that in other square brackets. It's got to be double square bracketed. So think of this as if it were like A, B, C, or D, or anything that we have here, and you have to put it in a square bracket. So it's already like, it's like a set within a set. So in this case, what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at some functions that use these notations, right? So let's go to regular reg extract, and we're going to take let me actually set this up first. I have what looks like an email address here, and I wanted to actually take out the the letters or numbers that are in this argument. So what you see here is that it's already going for this, but it's not going for anything else. Why? Because anything that is not alphanumeric, it's like a stopgap, right? So it won't go past that to take a look at what's behind it. So if we were to go ahead and take this out, we'd see that it does come up with the rest of the words. And of course, I have another stopgap here, which is the period, so you just take that out. Of course, you know, you can use a reg extract to take those out first, to take out the, you know, anything that is not alphanumeric, and then replace it with something, and then go ahead and use whatever that's replaced and then bring it out. So there are ways that you can kind of use a regular expression within a regular expression to get what you want, but at least you have that flexibility. Now, with regards to this one right here, this one is basically, it just takes out, and that's actually what I did in this one, it takes out anything that is not alphabetic. And that includes number. Remember, alpha means A to Z, upper and lower case. So it will now replace that. Actually, let me replace it with something else. Let me show you what it does first. So it just takes out the period, and it takes out the ampersand, and it just brings it out as one long string. But what you can do, of course, with this one is that you can also replace it with equals, just to show the differentiation. So it did take out the LMAO and so you can do that. You can actually play around with this. So these two are very similar. You can actually use these two together. Now with the ABC plus, go over. Okay. Yeah, let me go over this one as well, because I think. So this one takes out the A, B, C, D, E, F. It's just a very simple extraction. And it's like I said, it's much simpler than this one, but I wanted to actually show you the patterns. But this is just a simple extract where it just takes out A, B, C from that particular string. Now, if we were to go ahead and use, let's see, just to test it again, it would just do the A, B, B, C, and it would just continue to do that. Now, with the X, Y, Z, we've already covered that one, catastrophic. Okay, this one we kind of went into in another video. Reg extract. So we're going to do cat, pipe, dog. Remember, pipe, what does pipe mean? Pipe means or. So this is how you use this one for actual words. So it's going to take a look at pipe or cat. Anything that has cat, it'll take it out. Catastrophic. Easily enough. Used in many, many puns when it comes to cat videos. Cat. Okay, and then we go to uncatastrophic, actually. I don't know if that's a word, but it is now. It still works. So we do dogmatic. Dogmatic. And then if we take a look at dour, obviously it doesn't work. And this is, of course, another expression, another way that you can say, okay, I want to encase this in an error handling argument, just to make sure that I don't see these in any of my my sheets. It can be disconcerting when you have a bunch of data and your eye just goes to that and you're like, oh no, that's going to mess up my calculations of what I'm going to do. So it's always good to encase that in error handling, and I go over that in a few other videos. All right, so as far as regular match, this right here is very interesting, because this is telling you that you want to anything that is, okay, let me back up. When you're talking, oh, sorry about that, I actually kind of slipped on that. When you're dealing with passwords, there's some sites that don't want your password to have anything but numbers and letters. I can't, there are a few of them that do have that rule already or still in place. So in this case, I want to take a look and see, does this argument contain any of these special characters? Right? So in this case, I'm looking at anything that is matched to see if it does not contain any of these special characters. And in this special character list, include the caret. So when you look at it, it gets kind of confusing, but if you realize that you're talking about, when you're associating a caret with, square brackets, it's usually a not. And then when it's by itself, it's the beginning of a string and all this other stuff. But when you're talking about square brackets, caret means not. But in this case, the caret is actually a part of the string that you're looking for. Again, kind of confusing, but just go with me here. So in this case, we see that it is true. So if I were to put in, it would turn false, because that's part of the special character that's in there. So once again, when you take that out, it now becomes true. So this is a great example of, if you have a parameter where you don't want special characters in either a text, file name, whatever, then you use this regular expression. So of course, take a look at these regular expressions, play around with them, and just understand that when it comes to the caret, you just have to be very careful about how you use it, but it is used in this case as a not.